You leave my son alone, you carpenter vermin! We were those carpenter kids. We were too loud, too rude, too snotty, too in your face. We were just too. Oh man, so when I wanted to take piano lessons, it came as something of a shock. What piano? My father queried. What? Piano? My mother quivered at just the possibility of a little cultural refinement in her household. Now, piano lessons cost $3.50 with St. Teresa over at St. Mary's Catholic Convent. And when my father heard how much those piano lessons cost, he said, "Oh, for God's sake, that's ridiculously expensive. And in case you haven't noticed, Josephine, we don't have a piano." Well, the Lord works in mysterious ways, but mothers do not. My mother went to each one of my brothers and sisters and asked if they'd give up a little bit of their allowance so I could take piano lessons, and each one of them agreed. Carpenter kids stick together. I got $2. And then my mom, she raided her grocery stash, and I got the other $1.50. For the next 3 years, from 3rd grade until 6th grade, I came home from school, changed into my play clothes, and went straight over to St. Mary's Catholic Convent and practiced the piano. You can learn so many things when you're sitting and looking at a piano. It was at the piano that the devil and the Lord fought for my soul over the white and black keys. A piano teaches you that what you give is what you get. A piano is reliable when people are not. I always started conservatively with my scales, both major and minor. I knew from a young age that sweetness and sadness were best friends. And then I pretended that I was going skiing in Aspen when I did my arpeggios. And then I was at the circus when I watched those suspended thirds hop to the sixth and resolve. And I was reminded that the most diminished of us can become whole if we can just find a way to take the half step to the octave. It's the Lord who works in mysterious ways. Mothers do not. One day in 6th grade, I came home from school, and standing in the middle of our kitchen was this 3 by 5 by 6 foot rectangle. It was covered with a ratty pink quilt. "Hi, Mom. What's under the quilt?" Regina! When your father gets home, it's imperative that you do everything I tell you to do. Do you understand me?" "Okay, what's under the quilt?" "Regina, I don't think you did understand me. No, when your father comes home, it's absolutely imperative that you do everything that I tell you to do. Do you understand me?" "Yeah." "What's under the quilt, Mom?" My mother went over. Her fingers were like a magician's who places them onto his silks of his prized pigeons. She twirled her fingers into the ratty pink quilt, and then revealed an altar, a black lacquered console piano. You know, it's the Lord who works in mysterious ways. Mothers do not. My mother had closed our family grocery store, Carpenter's Grocery, one day. This was a huge risk because without the grocery store, we didn't have food or a roof over our head. She closed that store. She put that sign that said, "Be back at 3," and she got onto a Greyhound bus because when my mother was 40 years old, she still couldn't drive a car. She took the bus into Watertown, 22 miles away, which to us was a very long distance. She got off the bus and walked to the piano store. she picked out the piano that stood in our kitchen, and she made arrangements with the salesman to pay $5 a month for 12 years. It's the Lord who works in mysterious ways. Mothers do not. It's absolutely imperative, Regina, that you do everything I tell you to do. Do you understand? I do, Mom. And together we put the ratty pink quilt back over the piano. Now my father came home at 5:30. My father always came home at 5:30, and as soon as he came through the door, my mother rushed over to him and she kissed him full out right on the mouth. "Carl, it's so nice to see you." "Yeah, nice to see you too, honey. What's under that quilt?" "Carl, did you know you have a very talented daughter?" "Mm-hmm." "What's under the quilt?" "Carl, did you know she gets more gold stars than any of the other children in the studio?" "Oh, that's nice, Joe." "What's under the quilt?" "Carl, I don't want you worrying about the money, honey. I've made the arrangements. I'm going to pay $5 a month, just $5 a month for the next 12 years. "What's under that quilt, Josephine?" My father marched over. He put his fingers into the ratty pink quilt. He ripped it off just like his hands were talons. And as soon as he saw the piano, he said, "That's going back in the morning."